You ready to take your leadership journey to the next level? On the leadership platform TLP, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This year, we are bringing you cutting-edge insights, transformative tools, and real-world strategies to help you lead with confidence, purpose, and impact. This year, we have 4 seasons with 50 episodes. We will dive into themes such as leading self, leading others, and leading institutions. We bring you Leaders Are Leaders. This monthly session focuses on book reviews, discussions, encouraging all participants to read along with selected books on personal leadership and professional leadership. We also have a time with the CEO. In this segment, we dive into the stories of prominent CEOs who share their insights, lessons learned throughout their leadership journey. We also bring you extraordinary leadership stories, highlighting individuals in our societies who are doing extraordinary things. This segment inspires viewers with real-life examples of leadership in action. We will bring you some brilliant minds, courageous leaders changing the narrative of Africa. We also bring you finally the expert-led sessions, which cover a wide range of leadership and personal development topics, providing practical guidance and actionable strategies for personal and professional development. The leadership platform is your go-to space for personal growth, professional breakthroughs, and meaningful connections. I am Joy Bunsu-Schmutz, co-host on TLP, and I will see you every Saturday, 7 p.m. GMT, live on YouTube and Facebook.
Hello. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning from wherever you're joining us. Today is Saturday, the 24th of January, 2026, and it is our 240 episode of the Leadership Platform. As always, it's great to have all of you on the call. So if you're here with us, please put your name and wherever you're joining us from in the comments so I can welcome you. So my name is Sarah Jessie Apia, and I'm joining you from Geneva, Switzerland. And in the studio today with me is our own host and also the CEO of CTL Africa, Mr. Samuel Ayim. So as I have already mentioned, please put your name, where you're joining us, and what you're looking forward to learn today. So today, we're going to talk about developing your professional influence. Developing your professional influence. And I just want to welcome Abani Liambi, joining us from Benue State, Nigeria. Great to have you here with us and to spend your time learning. Great. So let us know what you want to learn about developing your professional influence. And Alejandra Juarez says hi. Alejandra, where are you joining us from? Let us know so we can welcome you properly. So, as the caption that says that the key to successful leadership today is influence, not authority. And this is what Ken Blanchard is sharing with us. Great. So as we move further, what Sam is going to share with us is that we don't need to persuade. Our ability to lead and to inspire without formal authority is really our ultimate career multiplier. So as you get ready, get your pens, papers ready. If you have your phone and you take notes electronically, let's get started. Sam, if you are here, join me on the platform and we will get going.
Great. Hello, Sarah. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Joseph. Good evening, Alejandra. My daughter is also called Alexandra. So,
Yeah.
Sarah, thank you so much for the introduction and
Yes.
always joining us from Geneva.
So how is Accra? It's
So,
cold out here. How is Accra?
Accra, Accra is yeah, it's choked. It's busy. People are getting back from the holidays, so the whole place is choked. And but it's cool. It's okay. We're trying to survive.
All right. So from cool Accra, I will hand over to you to take us away on how we can develop our professional influence. So Sam,
Thank you so much, Sarah.
yeah,
I'm going to share my screen. I There is some funeral going on somewhere near my neighborhood, so I hope that you're not hearing the music out there for now. So I
for now
I would yeah. Sarah, can you see my screen?
I can see your screen. Yes.
All
So take it
right.
away.
So
Yeah.
the theme for this evening, as Sarah has said, is developing professional influence. Right. So let's get started. Last week, I I did a short interview on City FM, which is a radio station in Accra, and they're asking about professional capacity development and how, as professional, we can develop our capacity. And a lot of people reached out and said that I had made some very good points and they would like to learn more. So we decided that this evening we'll build on that, which we shared on CTFM, and to expand it to how you can influence. You can use your profession as to have leadership in your profession. So we are going to have just a quick, short agenda, but with a lot of things in it. So we are looking at first, if you're talking professional influence, your professional influence is built on your professional capacity. So we're going to spend a bit of time to see how you can develop your professional capacity, why it is important, what it is, and some steps to help you develop your professional capacity. And then we will share some powerful ways, some practical ways to enhance the influence once you've established capacity to professionally execute. So that's our agenda. Let's let's get started. Now, the first thing I want us to understand is why professional capacity is important for professional influence. And I will start with this story, which is I had I've been a company secretary for a very long time, and I've worked with a number of CEOs. And in one of the organizations that I worked, there was a change of leadership. The CEO changed, and a new CEO came and initially shared very powerful strategic ideas that he wanted to take the company through. So the first board meeting of this CEO, I went to him because I've been around and I know how the boards are run. I've run board meetings several years, and I knew that you need to have an agenda. Go to your CEO, discuss it, go to the board chairman, discuss, and make sure we have a agreed agenda that we can share with other directors. So I went to this CEO and told him, boss, the board meeting is a few weeks away. I've put together a draft agenda based on previous meeting, and I'd like to have your input so we can share with the chairman. Then immediately he says, Sam, stop there. Well, I'm going to give you input, but you don't have to share with the chairman. I said, well, can you explain to me why? He says, I'm here I report to the board, I don't report to the chairman. So once the agenda is ready, we share to all directors, and that's the way we're going to. If you've done it differently in the past, well, new law. I said, well, my experience and the principles of governance requires that, you don't take an agenda to the board without clearing with the chairman, because he is going to lead the meeting and it's important he knows what's on the menu. He insisted. So we did what he wanted. And we sent the papers to directors. The chairman quickly called me and said, Sam, what happened? You didn't run this agenda by me. And I said, please call the CEO, because I think he has some ideas. And so he called the CEO and later called me back and said, well, thank you, Sam. I understand what's going on and we will see. And later on, I spoke to the CEO and I tried to persuade him that, look, if you don't get a chairman along with you, you're not going to be able to, get your ideas through the board, and he didn't agree with me. Long story short, that first meeting that he had was very bad meeting. It didn't go well, and it set the tone for the rest of his life in the organization, which was only 6 months. Within 6 months, he was out of the organization as CEO. He had all the brilliant ideas, strategic thinking, and all that, but he could not carry his chairman and therefore the board and therefore the organization to wherever he wanted to do. And he left in a very terrible situation. In fact, his office was locked. What happened here? It's not that he doesn't have the qualification, because he came very well qualified. And that brings us to the importance of professional capacity, which is not about certificates. Professional capacity is no longer about certificates. It is about relevance, value, and results. Your ability to be relevant to the organization at a point in time, your ability to provide value, and your ability to provide results. From the story that I told you, you would find that this person could not fit into the organizational culture and therefore could not get results he wanted, because his influence was limited by his own thinking and the way he was trying to do things. So the first thing I want to say is that professional capacity is not about certificates. So some many people think that, oh, I have certificate. And let me tell you this story again. This young man that came into a shop that I had done, and I found out that he was a chartered accountant. He had just qualified. He had qualified as a chartered accountant. He even told me he was teaching some people accounting. So I said, oh, great. We started this shop some months ago. We're looking for somebody to help us keep the books. And so I gave him all the records that we had, and I said, this is incomplete records. I had done some accounting, so I know that when the records are not complete, there's a way to do it. 3 weeks after he had taken all the books, I was calling him and I was not getting anything back. So I said, but what's happening? Then he said, oh, he has some friends that help them. He has not done this before, so he doesn't know. I said, but you're a chartered accountant, and this is just basic book, P&L that you need to clean out. He said he couldn't do it. At that point, he could not provide me value. He could not provide me results, even though he had certificates and he has chartered as an accountant. All right. So I want us to note that today the work of world is not about job security. It's not about how long you have stayed in the organization. Your influence is not going to be based on how many years you've been here, but it's going to be based on your skills. So we have moved from job security now to skills security. If you're going to have influence within the organization, you have to check your skills and what you are providing, because employers, clients, and partners are asking one question: what problem can you solve consistently and at what level? That is the question that everybody is asking. Your customers are not there just because you have nice logos and you have certificates, but they are asking, how are you helping me solve my problems? Your employers are not waking up and coming because you have nice certificates and a beautiful face. They are coming to the office and asking, what problems are you helping me to solve? And if you're not helping to solve any problems, then you will not have any influence. So many of us who are professionals are sometimes working very, very hard, but we are not upgrading our skills. And what that means is that you're limiting your influence by not developing your professional capacity. So I say that your qualification may open the door, but your professional capacity determines how long you stay in the room. Your qualification may open the door, but your professional capacity determines how long you stay in the room. So you see, this young man I told you about, he had qualifications and the door was open for him, but he couldn't do the job, so he left. I told you about a CEO who stayed for only 6 months, and it is all about professional capacity, and that is why it is important for all of us to focus on professional capacity. Right. So what is professional capacity? Simply put, professional capacity, if you put it as an equation, professional capacity PC is equal to C plus C plus C. Okay, so PC, professional capacity, is equal to C plus C plus C. First C is competence, second C is character, and your third C is consistency. Competence is what you can do and do it well. So that is your technical ability sometimes. But even that is not just technical. What can you do? What problems can you solve? What value do you bring? If you are so nice, but you cannot deliver competently, you will not have influence. The second C is character, and character is how do you deliver? How can you be trusted? So competence, what can you do well? Character, how do you do it? And how can you be trusted? If people cannot trust you, you can be as competent as Bill Gates, you will not stay for long. And the third element of capacity is consistency. How reliably do you deliver results? So it's not like today you deliver very good quality write-up and the next morning another write-up is given and is shoddy with a lot of mistakes. No. How consistent are you? And that requires you to work on your competence and your abilities and to be able to deliver professionally over time. Now, I want to clear this, sometimes this misconception. People think that, well, professional capacity is your potential. It is not your potential. There are so many people in the cemetery who have been buried with their potential. I think I have some music potentials because when I used to be young, I used to keep the drinking bar for my uncle, and I was the DJ, and I could have actually become a very good DJ because I used to play all this music on the gramophone. but that potential was not developed. And today, I don't even know any musician's name. I like the music, but I don't know who sang that song. That is capacity. That is potential. You are born with a talent, with a gift. That is your potential. But capacity is demonstrated ability. It is what you can do, and this capacity grows intentionally. It is not by accident. You have to work at it. You have to plan and develop consistently. All right. So I wanted to clear that. Now, so I'm going to summarize quickly the four pillars of professional capacity so that you understand. As I've said, your influence, professional influence, is built on the foundation of your professional capacity. You will not have influence. People will not follow you. As John Maxwell said, if you think you are leading and nobody is following you, you are going on a walk. So if you don't have people following you, you don't have influence. And you cannot have influence as a professional if your capacity is not developed. So four points I want to share around the what the four elements or pillars of professional capacity. Number one is your technical competence. Every profession has some technical competence, and if you are in any profession, if you're a graphic designer, if you're an accountant, you're a lawyer, you can just go to maybe chat gpt or any good AI platform and what are the top 10 top 5 competencies that are required as a corporate lawyer or as a criminal lawyer or as a journalist or whatever profession you are. Just type that and you will see the technical competence that are required. The second is your thinking and problem solving ability. If you are not, you're technically competent, but you cannot apply that technical competence to solve problems, like my friend who had the incomplete records but could not help me produce my account, then you cannot have influence. Then the third is professional discipline and work ethics. This is very, very important. If you're not disciplined, you cannot produce consistently. And the fourth is relationship and communication capacity. This is very, very important. Let me quickly say a few words about each of them so that we can make progress. So the first pillar is a technical mastery. And technical mastery is, as I said, is a core skills that define excellence in your profession. Okay? Average professionals stop learning once they get employed. And I have a program that I run, and I find that many professionals, even me, when I was a corporate lawyer for a very long time, I was not learning anything. Again, I knew what I knew, and I was doing my work, working very hard until I left. And now I started learning and learning new skills, learning training, learning coaching, learning other things that I could not learn. So when you're busy on your work, sometimes you don't learn again. And sometimes you're not even busy, but the work environment, the day-to-day things, you get routinized. And so you don't have the urge to learn again. And that is where you kill your influence. Okay? But high capacity professional deepen their mastery every year, every day, every month. They are always learning. So please identify the top 3, 5 skills in your profession, as I've said, and also learn beyond your job, your current job, because there can be changes in the organization. And when opportunities come, they're calling on you to, I mean, just yesterday I was in the Toastmasters meeting, and one of our members was telling us how she's now been appointed as acting CEO. She was the CFO, but now she's been moved to the CEO. Now, if you're a CFO and you don't learn other things, the general management and so on, if you're put at a CEO position, you will struggle. So you need to practice until your output becomes dependable. If your job changes tomorrow, what skills will you take away with you? What skills will still be valuable for you? That is some question you have to ask yourself. Now, the other pillar is problem solving. Now, at your work, promotions and opportunities go to people who can think, not just who follow instructions. I mean, Sarah and I had an interview yesterday, and somebody was asking us in the interview a question about, okay, how will we determine their success and so on and so forth in the job? And we told them, well, your success will depend upon how you're able to take initiative and solve problems, how you're able to think and create your job. You see, you can have a job description, and if you just stick with your job description, you may not be doing yourself favors. And some people, they give him something else to do, and they say, no, 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 that's not my job. It's not on my job description. You're killing your influence. Capacity grows when you shift from task execution to problem ownership. You take ownership and you do what you have to do. This requires you to learn to ask better questions, to see patterns in the field, and move away from what I was told to do to what I need to do. Now, I shared a story of um, two employees who were, one was an older employee, one is a younger one, and end of the year, the new person was promoted, and the person who had stayed for a very long time was complaining to the CEO or the boss why he's been here for years and he's not been promoted, and this one is promoted. So the boss says, oh, is that it? Call that young man for me. And he called them and he says, okay, I want you, both of you, he gave them 100 cedis or dollars each and say, go buy me tea. And after you come back, I'll explain to you why I promoted your colleague. So they went. A few minutes later, the one who has stayed for a very long time comes back and gives the money to the boss and say, well, I went to the shop and there was no tea. Say, okay. Just around that moment, the younger person who had just come calls the boss and say, boss, I went to that shop that you said there was no tea there. So I asked the area, they showed me another shop. I went to that shop. When I went, they had 3 different types of tea, a green tea, a mint tea, and a normal tea. And I would just want to check with you, which one will you want? And the boss says, well, I want the mint tea. I said, okay. By the way, when I came, they said, a pack is 50 cedis, but if I can get 3 packs, I can get it for 100 cedis. So I've negotiated and I'm going to get you 3 packs for 100 cedis. So he does that. And then he came back with 3 packs. And the older person was still sitting in the boss's office. And the boss says, well, do you see why I promoted this guy? You were just doing what I told you, and you came back and told me you didn't find tea. He solved problem. He went there was no tea. He looked around, and he has come with some very interesting solution to my problem. So it's about problem solving, and you need to apply your competencies, your technical skills. The third pillar is professional discipline, and this is very important. Your capacity will collapse without discipline, and talent without discipline becomes frustration. You're so talented, but you can't sit down and do the work. You can't concentrate. And today, we are in a very difficult situation because we are distracted by so many things. Phones are ringing, chats, WhatsApp is coming, all the social media, Instagram, and others are all knocking at your door, and you can easily get distracted. So if you don't have the discipline to manage your time, if you don't have the discipline to produce reliably, if you don't have the discipline to follow through and get results, if you don't have the discipline to respect deadlines and standards, you are going to have problems. I chair the disciplinary committee of the ICAG for a while. I just stepped down from that role. And a lot of professionals who were doing audit were brought to discipline because they have just not been disciplined in their execution of their work, because there is a manual, but they're not looking at it. They're not following the rules. They're not following the standards. If you're not able to follow your standard as a professional, you will fail. Okay? So your discipline will advertise your capacity before you speak. So discipline yourself. And the last pillar is relationship and communication. Now, a professional growth is relational. Studies have shown that your success in life is 25% your technical competence, 75% relationship. I had a colleague in one of my previous jobs who was very technically very good, but could not work with anybody. Every time somebody was paired with her, when you put in the team, there's always problem. So eventually, because she was technically good and the organization needed her technical skills, she was moved not only from the office, but from the head office to a country, and an office was created for her alone, just to focus on specific projects, because she couldn't work with anybody. And obviously, it didn't take long before she left the organization. So learning to relate with people, learning to communicate clearly, and not just being emotional about things, building professional networks intentionally is what will help you to increase your influence. So develop ability to work across personalities, across the hierarchy. You should learn to work up. We call it 360-degree leadership. Work with your boss, leading your peers, and leading your subordinates. That will expand your professional influence. Okay? So you can be competent and still be ignored if people cannot work with you. It's very, very important. If people cannot work with you, you will be ignored. So relationships. So those are the 4 pillars that you have to note. Now, let me share briefly with you how you can intentionally develop your professional capacity, and then I'll share with you some 9 pathways quickly how to enhance your professional influence. So I'm sharing with you this 5-step model to intentionally develop your professional capacity, because as we've said, it is based on that your influence comes. The first one is conduct a capacity audit. As I've said, all professions have some technical competencies that are required. So check, what are the competencies that you need? List all your competencies that are required and see which ones you're strong at and which one you are not. In other words, do a SWOT analysis, your personal SWOT of your strengths, your weaknesses, and determine which areas that you need to work on. Number 2, once you have that audit done and you have listed the competencies and you know where you're strong, where you're not, choose one growth area as your priority per quarter and work on it. So January to March, say you want to work on your communication skills. April to June, you want to work on your writing skills. July to September, you want to work on your relationship skills. Just look at the skills that you need to enhance your influence and practically, intentionally work at them quarterly. Practice them. Number 3, learn from people, not just courses. Yes, there's a lot of material, a lot of courses on the online to these days. So please, you by all means learn the content and the technical skills, but learn from people. This means that you probably need a teacher in certain areas. You probably need a mentor, somebody who has done these things before, and you probably also will need a coach. Sometimes you need a coach, and sometimes you even need a counseling therapy. You have to I mean, recently I was overwhelmed with so many things and I felt my head was exploding. And I had to go and look for a clinical psychologist and say, hey, what's going on in my head? The fact that you go for professional counseling doesn't mean that, you know, like they say in Ghana, or you go to a psychologist, doesn't mean that you're going mad. Because mental health is absolutely important, especially if you're going to lead at a higher level. And emotional intelligence is very important. And when you're stuck emotionally, you may need a professional therapist to help you sort yourself out. And when you have ambitious growth objectives, you may need a coach who will help you, work with you, reason with you, think with you into the future. Okay. And you may also need a mentor. So you may need a few people, 3, 4, 5 people in your life. Some of us may need spiritual companions, people who help us, help pray for us. That's very important. Learn from people, not just courses. And also practice in real situation. Once you learn, if it's communication skill you're developing, find a practical way that you can practice your communication skills. And here, for example, I recommend Toastmasters, where you can have a very safe environment to practice your communication. And if it is, bookkeeping you're trying to improve, look for some traders who are not keeping books properly and work on that. So look for practical situations to apply. I was a lawyer in my organization. I went out and did an MBA in International Financial Management. When I came back, what did I do? I'll go to the finance department. I'll say, let me read through your reports for you. Let me read through your annual reports. Let me review them for you. And by doing so practically, I built how to read the figures, not just what I learned. Then measure your progress consistently. Because if you're not measuring your progress, you are not going to grow. So I'm going to skip a few slides here because I've set them out. If you want more details, I will share those slides for you. So, yeah, we've talked about this. All right. So now time is running up. Let me share with you quickly what I call the 9 pathways to your professional influence. And then if you have some questions, you can put them in the chat. Share with me what you are learning. What is your takeaway? What is going well with you? What are the areas that you need to take home and work on, and so on and so forth? Share with me your experiences. Now, so I'm going to share quickly 9 pathways from what I will discuss on how to enhance your professional influence. Number 1, build credibility. It's absolutely important to build credibility before seeking visibility. I used to have a CEO at one point where when he joined the organization, people were saying, oh, all the banks are on CNN, so let us go to CNN. And he said something I'll never forget. He says, you don't blow the whistle when there's no game. A lot of us, because of social media, we want to just have social media presence and we're going to, blow our horns and so on and so forth and make a lot of noise about what we do when we have not built our professional foundations. If you just put yourself out there when you are not solid and you don't have credibility, you would destroy yourself. Influence is earned long before it is announced. This is what Stephen Covey calls the inside development. You have to go behind the scene, develop yourself inside, and then you come outside. All right. So master your core skills and deliver your results consistently, as we have said. Be known for reliability, sound judgment, and ethical conduct, as we have said. Keep your promises, meet deadlines, and exceed standards quietly. Then you'll be able to now come out. My takeaway here is that people follow competence first and charisma second. So I want you to get this. Number two, clarify your value proposition. Influential professionals know why they matter. What do you bring to your table? Define the problems you solve and the value you bring. Communicate your expertise very simply in a language that people can understand. Okay? So your value proposition, what are you bringing? What are you solving? Align your strengths with your organizational or societal needs. So come to the table and show what you can do. This is because if people can't explain your value, they cannot advocate for you, because your influence is not just what you communicate and do, but what others also say about you. Okay, so you need to communicate your value very, very simply and clearly. Why do you matter? Why should you be on the table or in the room? Number three, develop executive presence. Influence is transmitted through how you show up. How do you carry yourself? This also relates to how you dress and how you communicate, how you talk, your body language, speaking clearly, with clarity, speaking confidently, your composure when you stand up in front of people and you're speaking. And that's why I encourage you to join the Toastmasters. If you want to join Toastmasters, come and see me. There's a segment in Toastmasters that is called Table Topics, Impromptu Speak, where you call and you speak. Very soon they will call you in a meeting to share your views. You have not prepared. How confident and clear are you delivering that idea? Okay, so practice intentional body language. Body language is absolutely critical, and these are things you will learn in Toastmasters. And professional presence. Demonstrate emotional intelligence. Understand your own emotions. Control your emotions, especially in difficult situations. And also understand people's feelings and emotions and conduct yourself well. Presence is not about the volume of things you say. It is about confidence under pressure. Presence is not about the volume of things you say, but it is about confidence when you're under pressure. Number four, invest in strategic relationships. And this is very important because your influence grows with your network. If your network is limited, your influence will be limited. So build relationship across levels, as we have said, up, down, across functions. Relate to people, from your office, go to the next office, talk to the finance people. Some of us we sit at our desk, we don't talk to anybody, we don't have a relationship. When people have funerals, you will not go. People have parties, you will not go. And these are important in Africa, at least in Ghana. If you're going to build relationship, your colleagues had a funeral and you don't go, trouble. It's not trouble, but when you need him, he will remember that, when his mother died, you were there. It's absolutely important to build these bridges. Add value before asking for support. Like I told you about how I'll go to the finance people and say, let me read through your reports for you. Because I have some kind of critical eyes to pick some, things that are misplaced and mistakes here and there. So I check their report, I go to them, and because I was adding value to them, when I needed support, they were there also to help me. That is it is said that, first touch a heart, leaders first touch a heart before they ask for a hand. So add value, help, support, serve. Look for opportunity to serve the bosses, serve the juniors, serve your colleagues. And by so doing, you're building strategic networks and relationship. Be generous with your information, encourage others, and recognize people. This is very, very important. You don't increase your influence because you are the only one who knows everything in the shop. No. Whatever you know, share. Like we've been doing for 5 years on this leadership platform, we've been sharing freely on this platform, and many people have joined, and many people have invited us to come and help their teams. Okay, the leadership insight here is that your influence expands at the speed of your relationships. How quickly are you able to build relationships? Very, very important. All right. Number 5, learn to communicate for impact. Influential professionals shape thinking, not just conversations. Okay. So when you are in a conversation, what are you adding? What thoughts are you throwing out there? What impact do you make with your ideas? This requires you to also listen actively before responding. Don't just, people are talking and you are ready with your answers. No. Listen attentively, listen actively, accept valid points, and add to what they have said. Don't go and repeat what they have said already as if they are your own thoughts. Frame your ideas around shared interest and common outcomes. Use storytelling and evidence to persuade, not intimidate others. Okay? So learn to communicate with impact. Very, very important. People don't resist ideas. They resist feelings ignored. And this is where emotional intelligence is very important. If you ignore their feelings, then they will ignore your ideas. We are coming to the end. Number 6, demonstrates consistent character. We've talked about that. Trust is the currency of influence. So act with integrity even when unobserved. And this integrity is what you do when nobody is watching. Stay calm, respectful, and fair during conflict. You're going to have conflict. But when there is conflict, how do you conduct yourself? Own your mistakes. This is very important for character building. You make a mistake and you are giving excuses and you are trying to shift blames and so forth. Own your mistakes and learn publicly. I mean, it's not the politicians who says we don't say sorry. But as professionals, when you've made a mistake, say sorry. I goofed. I did it wrong, and I will learn from this. And you quickly earn credibility for that. Your leadership insight, character sustains influence when authority fades. I mean, I used to be company secretary and running law teams, legal teams across 30 plus countries across Africa. And every country I went, because of my position, people would, they'll be at the airport. In fact, sometimes they would bring the car onto the tarmac, they would drive you away. That was because of my authority. Today, I don't have that authority. But even when I go back into my former organization, even the very first ones I worked, they're like the stock exchange. When I go back, because I had good relationship with people, even though I had no authority in the organization, yet people listen. And when I call people in my previous organization, they are willing to help because character sustains influence. When your authority is fixed. I've seen professionals who have left the organization and they are not able to go back because of the way they treated people, because of the way they behave. All right. So 2 or 3 quick ones. Be visible through contribution, not noise. We've talked about this again. Influence grows when contribution is noticed. Okay. So volunteer for meaningful responsibility, share your insight freely, give solutions, lesson learned, position yourself as a problem solver, not as a critic, like we do in Ghana, criticizing everything. Okay? So be visible through contribution. Let your contribution be felt. Visibility without value creates attention, not influence. Please note that visibility without value creates attention, not influence. So have meaningful contributions. All right. Last but one, number 8, seek feedback consistently and continuously to improve. This is absolutely vital because influential professionals remain learners. We say leaders are learners. All right. So request for feedback from mentors, from peers, from your colleagues, from your team, even if you should go ahead and ask for the feedback and reflect on your blind spots, your weaknesses, and your behavioral patterns. Reflect on them and work at it. Invest in continuous personal and professional development. This is absolutely critical. The most influential leaders are the most teachable. That's your leadership inside there. The most influential leaders are the most teachable. And the last, for it to bring us to a close, is that align influence with purpose. Lasting influence serves something bigger than self. What is your bigger vision for the world? What is your bigger purpose? Anchor your influence in service and impact and purpose. Ask yourself, what is my why? Why do I want the professional impact? To do what? If you don't anchor your influence on your purpose, very soon it will fade away. Use your influence to empower other people, not to dominate. Build a legacy of trust and transformation. This is how you build your influence. True influence is measured by who grows, because of you. Who are you building? Who are you building? So we've looked at professional capacity and how to develop it. We've looked at the 4 pillars. We looked at a 5-step model to be able to grow your influence intentionally by auditing your competencies. And we've looked at some 9 powerful ways to help you to enhance your influence. And I'm open to questions. Finally, I want to say professional influence is not about position, it's not about popularity, it is not about power. Professional influence is about credibility, character, and contribution, consistently demonstrated over time. This is how you earn it. And you can be successful, as John Wooden says, success is a peace of mind, which is a direct result of self-satisfaction in knowing that you did your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming. Do your best to become the best that you are capable of becoming, and you will enhance your professional influence. And Sarah, that's my presentation. And thank you so much for listening. Let me hear from you. Let me see what questions you have and share with me your thoughts and ideas. Right.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much, Sam. Really powerful. And I guess our viewers already, I have a question for you. So please put in your comments, your takeaways, so that Sam, who is here, will be able to answer the questions for you. But before we do that, do we have any break, Sam, so that you can have some water to lubricate your throat? Sam, are you there? I believe he's frozen.
I'm here. I'm very
All right. Okay, great.
I'm
So,
here. I'm here. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you now. Great. All right. So far
All right.
I can see that since we started, Benaya has joined us from Accra, and then we have Dennis Rich, 4090. And Dennis Rich has a question. He has the first question. Yeah, which is very interesting. It says, please, what
All
are
right.
you supposed to do in instances where you are trying to exercise your problem solving skills, but your current boss is opposing your eagerness to help solve problems in the company? So someone is being blocked by his boss. He is ready to solve problems.
Yeah.
How does he navigate this obstacle? What can be some pointers that Sam you can give to
Yeah.
him?
I mean, Dennis is thank you, Sarah, for that. And Dennis, thank you for the question. It's a very important question. And this happens a lot in many organizations, especially organizations that are not learning organizations. Okay. If the organization is a learning organization and if the boss understand the place of leadership, this would not be a problem. He will listen to you and he will share your thoughts and you see. Even if your solutions are not the right ones, there is a way that the boss will handle it. So there's some bosses around here. So I want to speak to you, bosses. You see, a lot of people have ideas, and sometimes some of these ideas are killed by our bosses. We, the
Mm-hmm.
bosses who are saying solve problems, somebody is coming with a solution. We're not saying their solution, take their solution, but if you don't listen to their solution, first time, second time, that's the end. They will not come again. So let's have an open policy, open door policy. Let's have a system to brainstorm on the solutions that are being proposed. If you're not sure that this is the best solution, put two or three people together and help to brainstorm so that you have different ideas that can be tried. So for the boss, I say, please don't kill the eagerness of the young people or the team members who are bringing the solution. But for you, who is also bringing the solution, remember that your solution may not be the only solution. You may have a great idea, but your ability to communicate that effectively and an emotionally intelligent way is also important. Now, if your boss is resisting, there is it's a possibility also, is it a possibility that you don't have a relationship, a good relationship with the boss? So that's where it starts. You need to build relationship with the boss. You also have to have a track record of delivering on your role, because that's very, very important. There are some people who are eager to throw out solutions and ideas on other people's work when their job is not done. So do your work, deliver consistently on your own role. And when you have delivered consistently and gone out of your way to do other things for other people and gain credibility with other people and with your boss, then you'll be able to get it. Now, sometimes some bosses are difficult and they will not listen. One other way is to find who would the boss listen to and share that idea with, and let that person communicate that idea, because ideas and solution don't have to necessarily be communicated by you directly to the boss. I know there are some people who steal people's ideas and go and sell it and win. But go to this person and say, I have this idea. What do you think? Brainstorm with that person and see if it makes sense and see if it makes sense and see if you can implement it.
I believe we are having
My
some.
internet
Yeah, yeah,
is
your
freezing.
internet is
So I
unstable.
was saying the person that was, yes, go to find somebody that the boss will listen, share your solution with him, and then try, let him try with the boss. But when you have done everything and the boss doesn't want your solution, maybe then you have to move on. And if it's consistently and it's killing your initiative, then you have to ask yourself whether that is the right environment for you to work. Because any environment that does not appreciate solutions, that does not appreciate ideas, and so on, can limit your growth. So first do your work well, build relationship with your boss, serve others in your unit, and if you've done everything, look for somebody who could who will be heard by the boss or who has more influence over the boss. And finally, if it is not working and you think the environment is stifling you, then obviously you can find your way out. I
All
hope that
right.
helps, Dennis.
That is great. Dennis, let us know in the comments whether these approaches that Sam has shared with you is something that you have done or you are doing, or these are pathways that you'll be able to work on. So the slides, yes, someone is still Dennis who says he wants to know whether the slides will be shared. It will be on I think it will be on our YouTube channel. You can have the slides over there, and even the recording will be there that you can revisit. So Galaxy Cash says, how do you build strategic relationships when majority of the colleagues are naysayers with a negative mindset? You would rather avoid because of their negativity. So it's also the environment. So Sam,
Mm,
we have an environment
yeah.
where people are naysayers, and how do you build such in such an environment? How do you build strategic relationships? What's
Well, if if majority of the people are naysayers, well, then you are probably ask yourself if you are in the right environment. Once again, it goes to the environment. If you are in an environment that you cannot build relationship and people are all negative, then you have to decide your own attitude towards that situation and whether that is the right environment for you. Okay, because
Mhm.
look, I mean, we spend a lot of time at work, and if you are at an environment that is toxic, that people you cannot build confidence, build trust, discuss together, and work and solve problems, then I don't think that should be a good environment for you to stay. If you are still
Okay.
staying, then you need to adjust your expectation. Okay, but you cannot be the only one who is just coming up and trying to solve it when everybody else is a problem. So that if that is the situation, you will have to probably just work at people one person at a time. But if you're not getting anybody, then maybe again is the right time to move out of that environment.
Okay, but I like the fact that Galaxy Cash is saying majority. He didn't say all. So I will
Yes.
add that. So who are,
Yes.
yeah, amongst the colleagues, who are those who are not naysayers? How can you build that coalition with them and then see how the few of you can make some impact? So that is also a possibility.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely, Sarah. You picked that. Absolutely.
Yeah,
You are right. Yes.
great. Okay. Ezekiel Odwe says, thank you so much, Mr. Yim. My question is, how does one balance stepping into the limelight to influence versus not being comfortable in the place of preparation due to fear of other factors? Okay, so let me get a question right. How do you step into the limelight
Mm,
when you feel uncomfortable in the place of preparation due to fear? So, fear and other factors are really preventing the person from stepping into the limelight. What are some strategies
mm.
that
Yeah.
you can share with Ezekiel to overcome the fear?
Yeah. Well, when you say limelight, I don't know whether you're talking about, speaking in public or communication, sharing your ideas in the open or in a public space, um, on radio, on TV, or whatever. If that is the question, then the point you made about preparation is where to start from. Now, you you are as good as how well you have prepared.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've prepared yourself well, then there are a few ways. If it is public, if it's speaking in the public, that is your problem. First, one of the approaches is you practice what you're going to say, because the question is not too clear. So you're talking about overcoming the fear factor. So I'm assuming that, and as somebody has said, more people are afraid of public speaking than afraid of death. And John Maxwell once said that there are some people, in fact, if they are at the funeral, they'll prepare to be in the casket rather than to read the tribute, because public speaking is so fearful to them. All right. So they'll prefer to stay in the casket rather than read the tribute because they are afraid of public speaking. One, prepare what you're going to present very well. Number two, practice, practice, and practice. And how do you practice? Number one, you can stand in the mirror and practice and say it alone. Okay, so assume that the people are there, stand in the mirror, watch yourself in the mirror, and say the things that you have to say openly and loudly to yourself. So, like, if you have to say, today I'm going to talk about how to develop your professional competence. I heard Mr. Ayim on, say it to yourself. Find a group of comfortable people that you can present to, your family, your friend, one or two people that you are very comfortable with, and let them be your audience and present to them. So with that kind of practice, find a very comfortable group you want to. Over time, you are now able to go and present to what you call the limelight. Okay, so first prepare what you have to say and know your script, know what you're going to say. I can promise you, having spoken for how many years and been on different platforms, the fear of the we call it the butterflies in your stomach will never die. They will always be there. Even the best speakers of this world always have a butterfly. But the this practicing well and the techniques of when you go onto the stage, what you do and what you say, how you prepare, how you present. Once you've done that very, very well, you'll be able to stand in the public. Once again, I would encourage you to join Toastmasters,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a whole program on how to overcome your fear on that, on
Wow.
the Toastmasters platform, and you have opportunity to practice in a safe environment and get feedback. You see, because when people who are comfortable with you give you feedback, you put them into practice, you'll be able to now come openly and present. All right.
Okay. Thank you, Sam. Ezekiel, let us know
The
whether your
internet
question has
keeps.
been yes. Let us know whether your question has been answered, and if you want more clarification, we still have time, so you can put it in the comments. Great. And then Dennis is back with another question, saying, "Please, how do
Okay.
you navigate your path
Yeah.
when you are working with autocratic leadership?" So Dennis is asking about leadership, when the leadership
Mhm.
autocratic.
Yeah. Well, that's also another challenge situation where you say you're working with autocratic leadership. It depends on the circumstance. There again, we can't do, because we don't have the context. It's difficult to have a prescription. But generally speaking, if you are you're working under somebody who is autocratic, he wants to his way, he doesn't want to listen, and so on and so forth, you have to find a way of winning their spot and serve them. Generally, what I found is that when you are serving, when you're looking for opportunities to help them, when you're looking for opportunities to um, give them opportunities to be who they are and serve them. And for example, you know that he's autocratic, but he usually doesn't get his facts right when he's going. You go and research and give him he's going to do a presentation. Go and research for him. Now, as you are serving, with time, he will see your value, because it's all about value. But we can't vouch for somebody who is autocratic and doesn't want to listen. And even if you have presented a good thing, he will not listen. So, just the best answer I can give is look for opportunity to serve, look for opportunities to provide for some of the things he needs professionally, and find a way to win his confidence so that he can listen to you and you can share your ideas. The other way is also, if you are not the only one to do, like I said before, there again, you can use others who have influence, because no matter who the person is, he has his Delilah. No matter how strong Samson is, he had his Delilah to weaken him. So find somebody he can listen and go through that person.
All
Yep.
right, great. Thank you,
Hope that
Sam.
helps.
Yeah, thank you. Lots of commendations and lots of questions about joining of Toastmasters. I know you ran the chapter. So how can people sign up to join Toastmasters so that they can also be able to improve their communication? Sam,
Please just contact me directly. If you join this post, you probably saw my post on WhatsApp and so on. Just let me just put my number here. You can call me after, and then we can talk about Toastmasters.
perfect. Thank you. And Gloria Apori, thank you so much. Also confirming some what you have said. She said you must gain their trust, and also she says everyone has a soft spot. So try and learn about the soft spots and approach them. Okay, great. So now you have the number where you can reach out to Sam if you want to join Toastmasters. Great. I'm just looking to see whether there is any question that I've
Yeah.
missed. I don't think so. I think we've answered all the
No,
questions.
I'm not seeing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes, great. So Sam,
Yeah, I'm not seeing any more
Thank you
questions.
so much for taking us through these powerful lessons and how we can gain professional influence through the steps that you have outlined to us. And everybody, I think this is really great. You can look at the replay, which will be on our YouTube channel. Visit us and like our page also, because that also helps us to really keep producing and delivering this content for you. So, Sam, before we let you go, I know you've had a long day. What is the dessert that you're going to give to us? Your parting words.
All right. My parting words are what I started with. Today, your certificate is not enough. Influence comes from problem solving. The bigger the problem you solve, the bigger the influence you get. Look
Mm,
out for problems, look out for challenges. And in Africa, problems abound. All around us. The more problems you look out and help to solve, the more influential you become. Add value to yourself, because you cannot give what you don't have. So to be influential, you have to influence yourself by adding value to yourself so that you can add value to others. The whole purpose of leadership is to add value to others. And by adding value to people, you become more influential, you become valuable. And some people think they talk about indispensability, and you cannot be, no is indispensable. But when you are so valuable, because you're providing more value to people, then more people will be looking out for you. That is how you can enhance your professional influence. And that is my dessert, Sarah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sam. It's been great having you today share with us. And with this, we want to say thank you to everyone who really contributed by participating actively in sharing your comments and your commendation. It's great to have all of you, and we say good night to you, or good afternoon, or good morning to you, wherever you are. Until next week, when we come back with another episode, that will be the 241st episode. It's goodbye from the Leadership Platform. Bye-bye, and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye. Thank you so much for joining us.
And by the way, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, do that now.